skydiving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning, everyone. Happy, Wednesday, Tuesday? Tuesday. Yep, it's Tuesday. It is snowing in Colorado. About time. Pretty soon, winter's going to be summer. Summer's going to be winter. It's going to reverse. It's going to reverse on us. We're going to smack it, flip it, and reverse it. I hate that song. I don't know why it popped into my head. All right. Last night was kind of scary. I thought I was having a heart attack. I wasn't. It wasn't. And yeah. Well, I didn't think I was having a heart attack. I've had a heart attack before. I wasn't sure. And if you're not sure, just get your ass to the hospital. The hard part is when you walk in, they're like, what do you need to be seen for? And I'm like, well, I have chest pains. And it is scary because everybody starts acting at once. And it makes my blood pressure go up. It makes my anxiety go up. When I go to the hospital, I get PTSDs, but something came out of it. Several things came out. It has to do with my shoulder. It's emanating pain all the way down and through my chest. It's my shoulder. But the person that came in for, to do your information, check your insurance, things like that, and told them, hey, we've been working on our Medicaid. We got declined because they added everybody's household. They added the whole household, but it's because all of our stuff used to be connected. So we got kind of figured out. And she comes back after a little bit and she goes, your Medicaid went through. You have Medicaid. I need it. So the first thing I did this morning was set up an appointment for my therapist. It was the first thing I didn't do. That was the very first thing I did. I need it. And if it goes through, then I know that I have it. So, something scary that turns into something good. It just seems like God tends to set these things up. Yeah. I mean, it was to a point where I took nitroglycerin, and boy, was I dizzy. But it was kind of funny because I was still in a lot of pain. I'm not as in much pain today. I must still be working. But I was in a lot of pain, and I'm always in pain. I just deal with it. It's part of getting old. But so they've given me morphine for it. They're like, are you okay with morphine? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with morphine. And I was still in a lot of pain. We were trying to figure out, what to do because I don't have Medicaid, and we're talking about, that's when she came in. No, it's still, no, you can't. You think you can, but it's so confusing to me. I don't know. They tell you can check your status on Peak. On Peak, it says it's not active. It says it's not working. We got a denial letter. It's weird. I don't understand, but I'm not going to argue it. Right? Thank you for that. I am going to have to figure it out, though, because I'm going to be helping a lot of people with Medicaid and stuff. But this is kind of funny because we were talking about, she's like, well, do you want more morphine? And I'm like, oh. And then lady comes and she goes, I want you to know that Medicaid came through. And I said to the nurse, oh, I'll take that morphine now. It was purely a joke. They did give me a little bit more and it felt better. But it was just kind of funny. So let's get to today's daily reflection. Clearly the morphine's still working. I'm over here. I'm tired, but my wife was up all night throwing up. God, she's a fucking champ. Slept for an hour, went to work. I swear to God, that woman, she's 10 times fucking tougher than I am. But welcome to the Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. Not only that, but yesterday I had a long talk with, they're called OM Buds, and they help people through things like this. So I found another fantastic resource, and they have servants' hearts like we do. So, just when it seems the bleakest comes dawn, man. So yeah, absolutely, Ingrid. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I'm glad that you could at least pop in. Well, let's get to the daily reflection then. We're actually going to be in how it works. And I'm just going to start because it wants us to get two half measures avail us nothing. But you know me, I'm going to kind of read through it. And otherwise, this will be about 5 minutes. And yeah, it used to average 12 to 15. That was the goal. Now, yeah, I mean, I haven't even started. We're coming up on 8 minutes. This is why I make a good talk show host. I'm thinking about turning this room into like a talk show host room, but podcasting, I don't know. I have an idea a minute. I also want to turn this house into, you don't know this, a lot of people, that there's so much room here and such a big backyard. I want to turn it into a treatment center. Anyway, all right, let's get started. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Is it? Yeah. I tend to know shit that maybe I should not know, but I do. And there again, that's just God working in my life, giving me the right words, because I asked for the right words. You bet I do. So I don't do it consciously, but I've done this so much that that's just what's going to happen. So anyway, rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path, right? And that's going to apply to what we're talking about, because half measures are going to avail nothing, right? And so do you have to thoroughly follow that person's path? No, the path. And the path is the 12 steps, okay? It's going to look different for you. It's going to be different for you, but that is the path that we follow, okay? Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. Now, this is where I pull out the fact that even growing up, I didn't know how to be honest. I didn't. I lied constantly. And I'd like to say it was because of my parents, but I don't think that would be true. Well, Dion, you got to start being honest. Well, how do I do that? Well, you don't lie. Okay. How do I not lie? Well, you be honest. See, it's a conundrum for Dion. It wasn't until somebody came along and pointed out how I was lying, where I was lying, and what I was lying about. Because I thought I was being honest. I did. I thought I was being honest. What does that come back to? Well, I was constitutionally incapable of being honest with myself. That's what that comes back to. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. See how this is written where it's all nicey nice? Well, just take out the nicey nice words, you know. No, it seems they've been more than that way. No, it doesn't work. All right. They are naturally, what does naturally mean? It means instilled in. It means that I do it like breathing. But for me, it is unnatural. Telling the truth is unnatural for me. It goes against the grain. And it's weird. It's weird. Right? They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. That is the only word we are ever to put in front of honesty. Let me rephrase that. That is the only word Dion gets to put in front of it. Well, sometimes people use brutal honesty, but for me, brutal honesty is something different. Okay. So it's just a word. It's the action that I kind of watch, right? Because Amber says brutal honesty, but for her, she's talking about inside, okay? Because I've listened to her, okay? What it's about, instead of being passive aggressive, we become assertive. That's where we all tend to land, right? So it can kind of switch, but this is an inside honesty. And if you need to be brutally honest with yourself, and that's what it takes, fucking do it. Yeah. Just don't do it with other people. Because then I started to, and all I was doing was giving advice. I was telling people what to do because I thought I knew better. That's Dion's brutal honesty. And that's where, but for people, it's going to change. Their chances are less than average. Ouch. 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 Elliot. Right? Sucks. But the challenge contained, for some of us, we're like, oh yeah, motherfuckers. Watch me be honest. Hey, if it works, I get to stop that. There are those two who suffer from grave emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Lunch, gotta go. Oh, got it. Okay, I'm hearing you. I'll try and go live at 11. I will. Have a good lunch. I love you. Now it's just me and the internet, so that's okay. My friends showed up. Even if it's for a minute, you guys, it's supportive to me. And I've never gotten that in my life. No. I haven't. So, yeah. So I know a lot of people, including myself, in this program that have a lot of other mental disorders. I am diagnosed with 3 others. I'm not going to get into them on this one. Okay. But I had the capacity to be honest. Actually, let's utilize the PTSD as an example. Okay. Now, when I was diagnosed with it, I denied it. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? So what happened? Well, I was able to utilize the steps from the program to help me get over that denial so I could work on being better. That's what I did. See, this is where the program becomes very useful for these other mental illnesses. I don't like to call them disorders. Disorder. And now NADAC wants to call it. I'll call it use disorder. In fact, I know I'm going to go to a meeting at the end of the month. People are going to say AUD, SUD. I'm going to say I prefer he, him, alcoholic. If you know enough clinical, that's funny. That's funny. All right. So, what does the program help with the mental illnesses? I'm just going to cover that real quick. It helps you get to a point where you can work on them. That's what it does. Okay. And then while you're working on it, there's a lot of things in the program that you can use to apply towards that mental illness. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. That's how you tell your story. If you have decided you want what we have, we, not me, not one particular person, okay? Because I don't know about anybody else, but my program is built upon stealing other people's stuff. They allow me to do it, but it sounds more fun when we say it that way. Okay. I stole parts of other people's program that I liked and applied it to my own. My program is a variation of thousands and thousands of people. Yeah, see, they called me a hard poker, right? That's where they had to go in. They're like, you are so dehydrated. I'm like, fuck. They're like, have you been drinking water? They'd say, you know, you're really dehydrated. Have you been drinking water? What are you supposed to say? What? And I told them, nope, I haven't been. I have forgotten totally lately to drink water. I have. What else could I do? It felt nice to be vindicated. It did, because I was on the red list for a while there. I thought I was a pill seeker, but that's a different story, right? So if you decide you want what we have and are willing to go to any length, there's a requirement, okay? But willingness requires what? No action. So give it a try. Give it a try. If it don't work, no harm, no foul. We tried, right? All right. Then you are ready to take certain steps, okay? Now, what are these certain steps? Well, they're 1, 2, and 3, really. They're 1, 2, and 3, okay? Because we need to figure out a few things before we get to that 4th step, like delayed gratification, like delayed gratification, accountability, finding your own higher power. That's the big one, right? And that happens in steps 1, 2, and 3, right? At some of these, we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way. This is what I was kind of talking about the other day. People with experience in this program are not being listened to a lot. Okay. And it's a generational thing, because I can tell you something. Gen Xers learned from the mistakes of others. That was driven into our head. Now it seems like, you know, you give somebody younger some direction and they cancel you. You're just canceled. It doesn't, you know, if you think you're going to get, you know, through this life without the experience of your elders, you're going to have a very, 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 very rough life. Okay. And there is no easier, softer way. I can guarantee you that. I can promise you there is no easier, softer way. It does not exist. This is it. So the question is, pick your heart, because it wasn't easy drinking and being an active alcoholic either. That was not easy. Okay. This isn't easy either, but at least I'm a useful member and productive member of society now. I'm useful. I know I know I get lonely, but I don't feel so lonely that I feel like I'm the only person in the world anymore. That doesn't happen. Even while I was going through my depression over Christmas, if I thought nobody really truly loved me, I wouldn't have done the lives. I wouldn't have done them. But I know better, right? So we get better. that there is no easy way. It does not exist. There's one really easy way, but is it even? And that would be suicide. But even then, I don't think that's an easy way either. So pick your hard. All right. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. And listen to this. With all the earnest at our command, we beg of you. We're begging, please try this. Not everything in AA when it started was mean. No, we're some pretty kind people. Okay? We have servants' hearts, which is weird, isn't it? I don't know why that works or how it works, and I don't care. Does not matter to me. We beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. We're talking about the third step here. The rest of this is going to be third step, okay? And the third step is made a decision, turn our will and our lives over the care of God. It's just a decision. It's a decision, okay? Now, it's also going into the fourth step here, because what are the watchwords for the fourth step? Fearless and thorough. Those are the watchwords for step 4. Well, if we're fearless and thorough on steps 1, 2, and 3, then going into that fourth step isn't going to feel as overwhelming. It will not. All right. Remember, we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful, and patient. Without help, without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. I didn't have a problem with God or the thought of God. I never, ever, there's not a point in my life where I didn't believe in God. Never been. The types of gods that I have heard and things like that. But since I came into the program when I was 18, I still feel the same higher power since that point. Since I did steps 1, 2, and 3 and went into 4, did all that. I still feel that same loving, caring, unconditional higher power. And I always have, even when I went back out. I didn't pray. I didn't utilize it unless I was in trouble. And even then, I knew it wasn't going to work. So, do you have to find God? Let's go with a higher power of your understanding. That's what we're really talking about here. All right. I like how Amber puts it. And she stole it from someone. They stole it from someone. That's why it works. But God is a universal word. I'm going to try this again. I usually screw it up. Like a shirt. See, a shirt could be a shirt or a flannel or a crop top. Hey, I'm doing better this time, right? It could be a blouse. There's all sorts of types of shirts. I think that's a great way to describe it. It's like shopping. I don't know. Here comes the portion for the reading. Half measures avail us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. This is step 3. That is purely step 3. And so when it comes to half measures, it's that decision that we're making. Okay. And this was my thought process. Okay. I know that alcohol is my problem. Okay. And I have willpower against these other things. But why bother? Why bother sitting here picking and choosing? Because I succumbed to the fact that all my best ideas, my thoughts, my actions kept leading me back to AA. It kept leading me right there. And so what does it tell me? Well, it told me that there was a lot more wrong than just alcoholism. It wasn't the alcohol, right? So we had to make a decision. And what is a decision? It's a turning point, right? If you ever watch the Matrix, the first Matrix, right? They finally get Neo. They're driving in a car, and Neo doesn't quite know what's going on yet. And there's a bug in him. They want to get it out, and he's like kind of refusing. And they stop the car, and they're like, "Get out! Like, get out, you man!" And Neo opens the door to get out. He's like, "Fine, fuck you. I'm gonna get out." Right? And Trinity's like, "Hold on, Neo. Look down there." And he looks it down the road, and he looks back, and she said, "You've been down that road before, and it didn't work." It's a turning point. A decision had to be made at some point. And the decision is, am I going to go continue on with my crappy life? Or do I want to be better? Well, 98% ain't going to do it. Sooner or later, you're going to have to give it all. Does it always happen on step 3? No, not always, but it's usually best that we feel that connection with some sort of higher power before we go into the 4th step. Because without a higher power, I can't be fearless. I can't. I've found no other way. And I've tried a lot of different ways. All right. So it says, half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. All of it. All of it. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. You have a human will. If you want to take it back because it ain't working, go for it. We'll write you a receipt for your misery and we'll send you on your merry way. Happens often. But the choice is yours. Okay? I'm glad that statistics don't keep popping up. It used to be a big thing. Don't worry about statistics. Just don't worry about them. They don't concern you. Don't be a statistic, man. Okay? Statistics, the only good statistics do in what we do is so that we can figure out the needs of the community. That's all it's good for. Otherwise, why? Something's going on with my Facebook because I don't usually have 10 I don't usually have 10 things in half an hour. Somebody probably went to my page and liked half my shit, or it was a page that I post to. And this kind of gets me. If you don't watch the video, don't love it, don't like it, don't comment on it. You can watch it. It's okay. But I post this in other people in 2 other places, 2 other groups. And sometimes I'll go in and just like all of it at once. And it's just like, it just fills up my, yeah. Anyway. Every day I stand at turning points. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you're at a turning point. You got 2 options, alcohol or God. You're picking God. You're not thinking about alcohol. You're just going straight to God. Well, what is this? Well, that's a good habit. Okay. It's a good habit, but it's an easily broken habit. It is. All right. My thoughts and actions can propel me towards growth or turn me down the road of old habits and to the booze. Sometimes turning points are beginnings. They almost always are. Okay. I talked a little bit earlier about a turning point with my Medicaid. It was a turning point. All right. Sometimes as when I decide to start praising instead of condemning someone. Praising. I think they mean like, because praising to me means like, okay, but in this situation, they're talking about just supporting people. Sure. Okay. My brain went the other way because it's a little screwed up. Okay. It's encouragement. It's the same thing in this situation. So, or when I began to ask for help instead of going at it alone. All right. This morning, I have to go pick up my meds, and I don't have my driver's license till tomorrow. So I went and asked my kids for help. They were unable to do it, and I didn't put any guilt on them. Because I'll get them. If it means tonight, great. But I don't want to be in pain all day. But if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. And it's nice because, because my car does shit in the snow, and I know it. That I know I'm going to be kind of. And so I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, yeah, I should not drive my car. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, because there's a part of me like, fuck them. They're the ones that fucked me. I should be able to drive, and I don't give it yet. See, I can't do that. So I wouldn't ask for a ride. They weren't, but they're like, well, you take Shay's car if you want, because they know my car does crap. I'm like, I don't have my license. Yeah. So we gotta be honest. Gotta be honest. So, and then, I'm sorry. Oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll get him. Maybe I'll Uber it over there. Yeah, I won't do that either. Uber it. I'm not going to sit in the car while somebody else drives in the snow unless it's my wife. Maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. At other times, turning points are endings, such as when I see clearly the need to stop festering resentments or crippling self-seeking. Many shortcomings tempt me daily. Therefore, I also have daily opportunities to become aware of them. In one form or another, many of my character defects appear daily. Self-condemnation, anger, running away, being prideful, wanting to get even, or acting out of grandiosity. I have to admit, I go through it's every day. It isn't, but it isn't this. It isn't these swing emotions like it used to be, like all the time. I do woo, woo, Now it's more like this. Okay. I don't have those big highs and lows anymore. I can recognize it quicker. Right. So attempting half measures to eliminate these defects merely paralyzes my efforts to change. It is only when I ask God for help with complete abandon that I become willing and able to change. Now, in my opinion, this is backwards. I think the willingness comes first. Because you got to be willing to let God into your life. But even the smallest amount of willingness. But if it worked that way for them, then it worked that way for them. See, it's an experience. Right. So I guess I should have said my experience was, not in my opinion. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. It's always good to see all of you. I love you. Peace out.